Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Chasing the Truth, where we're going to talk about controversial topics in entertainment, sports, politics, and news. And today we have a very big breaking case with R&B singer R. Kelly. He just got sentenced to 30 years in prison for sex trafficking. And the question I want to pose to the people is, was justice served? Now, I'm going to say yes, justice was served. However, justice should have been served about 20 years ago, at least 20 years ago. All right. Now, those of you who are probably clicking on this video know damn well who R. Kelly is, but if people don't, R. Kelly was one of the most popular R&B singers in the 90s and early 2000s, okay? And I'm just going off the top of my head. There's two songs. Well, I mean, actually, three songs that I'm gonna talk about. One, and this is gonna be in sequential order. One is like Bump and Grind. Ain't nothing wrong with a little Bump and Grind. I'm pretty sure that's R. Kelly. Other one is I Believe I Can Fly. Okay, so I'm gonna just talk about that song real quick. I Believe I Can Fly was probably one of the biggest songs in like 1996. Okay, I remember singing that song in elementary school. Okay, that's how big R. Kelly was. Like, we had an assembly, and literally everybody was singing "I Believe I Can Fly." "I Believe I Can Fly" had to have been one of the most popular songs of that year. Okay, and that was R. Kelly's song. All right, and one of the other songs I'll talk about just off the top of my head, without even looking at anything, is the remix to Ignition. Okay, that was a little bit later in R. Kelly's career and everything like that. And I just wanted to talk about his music because his music is a staple, and that's what people like me grew up on. All right, but the other side of R. Kelly was he was a sexual predator and a demon. All right, and my thumbnail picture, as you can see, is R. Kelly with Aaliyah. Aaliyah was a famous singer from the '90s. However, R. Kelly was dating her when she was a kid. I think like R. Kelly was like 15. Oh, excuse me. Aaliyah was 15 and R. Kelly was like 25, and they got married and all that. And it was obviously an inappropriate relationship. And kind of back then, people kind of downplayed it because it was R. Kelly. And they were like, hey, you know what? Since it's R. Kelly, we just gonna kind of leave that to the side. Yeah, she 15 and all that, but it's kind of no big deal. And unfortunately, uh, Aaliyah passed away. I want to say in '99. I remember that with the plane crash and everything like that. So I remember also too that Aaliyah, obviously they broke up or whatever, and they weren't together when she passed. However, it would have been interesting to hear her perspective about R. Kelly during this time, even though she passed away in 1999. And one thing I do want to say to people, if you are interested in why this is a big deal, is just to watch that Lifetime series on I forget the name of it, but it's called like Discovering R. Kelly or whatever. When they just pretty much make all these accusations against R. Kelly, and it was really big when that came out because people were kind of in denial about R. Kelly. All right, and I want to say it came out couple years ago, maybe even more than that, maybe even 10 years ago or something like that. But it was pretty some damning allegations on R. Kelly. And even somebody like me, I remember watching it like, damn, that's crazy. You'd be like, damn, I remember hearing about this stuff in the news, but it was just like, I can't believe it with R. Kelly. Now, another thing that R. Kelly is famous for is his sex tapes. Okay. Now, this is allegedly back in like 2001. Even Dave Chappelle did a skit on this. This is what R. Kelly is known for, is that he was like peeing on an underage girl. Okay, and this was like before the internet and stuff was really popular in social media. Before social media, so R. Kelly's sex tape with this kid was something that was circulated in the underground world and everything like that. And a lot of people were in denial about it. I never saw the tape, nor do I want to see the tape, but it's confirmed that that tape exists, okay? And that's even talked about in that Lifetime series and everything like that. So I remember this happened even in the It was either in the late 90s or early 2000s when the tape came out, but R. Kelly kind of denied it, and yeah, he 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 had to go to court for, I forget if specifically what happened with it and everything like that. He had the allegations, but once people started exposing R. Kelly, he was in and out of jail and having all these claims against him in the late 2000s. People was like, hold up, man, you know, R. Kelly is not who we really think he is. And the thing why this is big news, not only is 30 years like probably the rest of R. Kelly's life, but it's kind of like a shock, because one thing I do want to say is that R. Kelly, everybody knows R. Kelly. He's probably one of the biggest R&B artists in the 90s besides like Michael Jackson. Okay, that's how big R. Kelly was and how big his hits were. All right, but this ain't about R. Kelly no more. It's definitely about the victims, because you know he denied the allegations for such a long time. However, him obviously getting convicted of 30 years just means that these allegations were true. And I really do want to point out to that Lifetime series. I'm gonna try to find the name of it. So if people wanna check it out. But I watched it. It was a couple part series. Oh yeah, Surviving R. Kelly. That's the name of it. Okay. Yeah, it was a very good detailed series. It talked about from when R. Kelly first started out to the present of him getting officially charged with these allegations of not only sex trafficking, but against minors, but also other women as well. Just being very sexually deviant and just being an overall bad person. Meanwhile, he's putting out these hits. And I would say, from my perspective, knowing about R. Kelly and growing up listening to his music, I didn't know, and I guess even it's messed up to say, but a lot of people were ignorant to the fact of those allegations, you know. But this is actually a huge deal, okay? Because you know, recently, I want to say the last couple of years, R. Kelly, he was on Gayle King, kept on saying he beat his case, and he beat his case, but yeah, I don't know if he was being a creep with young, poor black women, or he was racketeering. You know, and it's interesting because they hadn't really been talking about this recently, so I'm just doing a lot of this stuff off the top. I just really think that, based off of watching that exposing R. Kelly, I just really think this is, for lack of a better words, he was just a creep, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I feel like he would prey on anything that he could. All right. And even about the exposing R. Kelly, I remember, you know, they talk about specific fans and how old they were and how they had proof that they was with R. Kelly and he did all this stuff with them and sent them the stuff and just kind of like do it. It was just like, it just really shed a light on these allegations that were made against him after all these years. Okay. And I feel like, you know, one of the biggest ones obviously was the whole video with the minor. That's talked about. Well, actually, he's had allegedly multiple videos with minors, but that peeing video, you know, a lot of people. This was before the internet, social media. Well, excuse me, not before the internet, but definitely before social media, where people were like making a joke about that and stuff like that. When in actuality, it was probably true that he was doing that. So not only was he just liked to do stuff with girls, okay? And even in that documentary of exposing R. Kelly, which I would highly recommend. I think it's like a 6-part series or something like that. It just talks about his affection for younger girls, and he's had this like his whole life. All right, and then what I saw, especially within the past like 10 years, he spent a lot of his time not making music, but denying these claims, okay, until they finally arrested him, and he in jail now. So, yeah, you know, I just want to say it's actually very big news. Like, you know, we had Ghislaine Maxwell for the sex trafficking yesterday, and now R. Kelly today. And a matter of fact, I think it was in the. Hold on, I'm gonna see where it was. Um, but I think he might have been in New York too. Yeah, he was in New York federal court, where they did this. But we keep this about the victims. Forget R. Kelly music, and I ain't gonna even talk about his music anymore. But it's definitely about the women that he abused and everything like that. What the hell is this? Oh wow, I didn't even know I could do that. That's interesting. So yeah, that's my reaction to it. Hold on, I'm trying to read this comment. Um, oh okay, but yeah, I definitely, if you ask me, I definitely think it's more about just it wasn't all black women. You know what I mean? So it definitely, I remember even in that exposing R. Kelly, it was some Latino women. I don't remember seeing no white women or anything like that. I don't think that really matters, like the type of women. I don't think that he was, my personal opinion, I don't think that R. Kelly was like racketeering women and like really doing. I just think that he was like a predator, and he used his fame to like hypnotize these girls into thinking like, hey, it's okay. I'm R. Kelly. We could do this. We could do whatever. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's just that. So let me read. I'm gonna read this article. All right. And then we can, I'm gonna do my reaction to this. So it says, all right, yeah, this is a great way to put it. This is from the Los Angeles Times. They just came out with this about an hour ago. Said disgraced musician R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Oh, God, man. Wednesday in a New York federal court. U.S. District Judge Ann Donnelly sentenced the R&B star after she and the court heard statements from R. Kelly's victims, according to the Associated Press. Kelly again came face to face with his accusers during the sentencing hearing in Brooklyn, as well as several of the women recounted the pain he inflicted on them, telling the R&B hitmaker that they are no longer the preyed on individuals we once were. Okay, so I feel like that's important because, yeah, that's I definitely want to get back to. I definitely want to get back to that exposing R. Kelly documentary because that's what they talk about was all the victims. Okay, let me go back to the victims over the years. All right. You made me do things that broke my spirit. I literally wish I would die because of how you made me feel. Do you remember that? One woman asked the fallen R&B star in Brooklyn court as he awaited sentencing in his federal sex trafficking and racketeering case. Another victim said the Grammy Award winner known for his 1996 I Believe I Could Fly and the raunchy musical odyssey Trapped in the Closet manipulated fans into believing that he was someone other than the man the jury saw. Another said the verdict had restored their faith in the justice system. Yeah, so that's a big deal, okay? And we'll see if people talk about this on the news. I'll check later. But yeah, R. Kelly, he was famous because he put out. I hate to say this, because I'm trying to separate his music from the actual artist. Okay, if you hear R. Kelly's music, it is good music. It is good, catchy music. Okay, and I obviously I don't condone his activities that he did with these women and everything like that. But you have to separate the art. Me being objective, separate the artist from his music. Okay. So let's go on. Let me see if I can share this real quick. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. All right. The emotional sentencing hearing, which began around 7:30 a.m. Pacific time, came more than 9 months after a federal jury in New York convicted the "I'm a Flirt." Yeah, that was another hit at R. Kelly. "I'm a Flirt." Singer on 9 counts of sex trafficking and racketeering to recruit women as well as underage girls and boys for sex. So that was interesting about the whole racketeering thing. That's from what I know and what I remember. I know that he obviously had girls like for himself, but the whole racketeering thing just adds a whole nother level to it. Like he was really trying to enslaved multiple people. That's been alleged. I'm not gonna go into detail about that. Obviously, shit, the courts did that, so yeah, he's going to jail for this. All right, so yeah, it must have been true. Kelly, 55, whose real name is Robert Sylvester Kelly, has been held at Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn since the September verdict. Okay, so yeah, he's been in jail a long time already. I guess they already came down with the verdict in September, but just sentenced him today. The musician kept his hands folded and looked down as he listened to the witnesses, the AP reported. Earlier this month, prosecutors asked that Kelly spend an excess of 25 years behind bars, arguing that he's a danger to the public. Prosecutors also pointed to his lack of remorse for exploiting his fame to lure his victims. See, I feel like that's one of the big things behind his case is that R. Kelly, he was famous, okay? So it's just like I'm trying to the equivalent of I can't really think of an artist right now or whatever that can compare to what he was. But anyway, I always say it's just like this. It's just like, hey, if you had a teacher or something who's very looked up to, and the teacher abused his or her power to take advantage of a student, that's very similar to what R. Kelly was accused of and convicted of. All right, so Kelly's defense team pushed for the minimum sentence of 10 years or less, arguing that Kelly experienced a traumatic childhood involving severe, prolonged childhood, sexual abuse, poverty, and violence, and that his victimization continued into adulthood, where he's repeatedly defrauded and financially abused, often by the people he paid to protect him because of literacy deficiencies. That's an interesting point. Interesting defense. That is something that that was talked about, and that exposing R. Kelly. I think it was like his brother or something that that alluded to like him being abused as a child or something like that. However, that's definitely not excuse. No excuse when you get older, okay? Like, and especially if you got money. All right, if you got money and you're famous and stuff like that, and you got problems, you can get help for your problems, okay? So I don't agree with R. Kelly playing the victim here. All right. After the long-awaited 6-week trial last summer, a federal jury concluded that Grammy winner used his celebrity status to procure then mentally and sexually abused girls and young women during a 25-year period. So that's what I talked about, and this was even before reading this article and everything like that. That's the biggest thing about this is that R. Kelly was one of the famous R&B singers of my time, okay? So for him to use his fame and power to say, hey, I'm R. Kelly, you want to come chill with me? You want to come back to my house? You want to come back to my hotel room? Or you want to do whatever? It's just very messed up, okay? Because people were a fan of his music, okay? And unfortunately, these women had to see I guess his dark side and who he truly was. Alright. The operation involving a network of managers and aides who helped Kelly meet girls and keep them obedient and quiet amounted to a criminal enterprise. Okay. Now this is interesting. So I guess when it comes to the racketeering, R. Kelly had other people help him and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess if other people were involved and everything like that, then yeah, it would be a racketeering enterprise and everything like that. I haven't read this article yet, so we're gonna see if there other people are implicated or got sentenced or whatever. So they also found that R. Kelly valid anti-sex trafficking law is known as the Mann Act. Now, Kelly's sentencing had been postponed from May because pre-sentencing report had not been filed. According to CBS at the time, the judge also denied his attorney's request to postpone sentencing until after the musician's trial this August in a separate federal case in his hometown of Chicago. All right. Sexual misconduct allegations have dogged the hitmaker for decades, but were repeatedly sidelined as he built his musical empire on his sexually explicit songwriting with the songs with titles such as Ignition, Bump and Grind, and Your Body's Calling. Yep, those are all famous R. Kelly songs, all right? and then remix to Ignition, a little bit bumping and grind, a little bit bump and grind, and Your Body's Calling. Like, that's an old song too. All right. The singer produced Long seemed invincible, evading criminal responsibility despite dire accusation involving young women and children, even though stemming from his marriage to musical protege Aaliyah Halton, who I mentioned earlier, who died in 2001. My bad, she died in 2001. Okay, not 1999, at the age of 22. All right, and that was actually when Aaliyah died. That hurt the community. All right, everybody was very sad when Aaliyah died. That was a tragic plane accident. Aaliyah had very good music as well. Rest in peace to Aaliyah. According to testimony, Kelly abused her when she was 13 or 14 and falsified documents so he could marry her when she was 15 and he was 27. All right, so that's what it was. Not only was he 27 and she was like, it's disputed. I mean, they talk about that in the case. He was falsifying documents to try to get to marry Aaliyah when she was a kid. All right, 13, 14, 15-year-old girl. All right, but the allegations caught up with the singer in 2018 following the Me Too movement. Widespread condemnation came in tandem with the Emmy-nominated 2019 Lifetime docuseries Surviving R. Kelly, which I mentioned a few times. I highly suggest people go check that out, in which several of his accusers shared their stories. The saga and its 2020 follow-up, The Reckoning, gave rise to the viral Mute R. Kelly campaign that began to interfere with the musician's ability to perform on stage. So that's interesting to point out. Yeah, so I guess it was 2018 when the Surviving R. Kelly came out. I seen that. I have not seen The Reckoning. One thing about R. Kelly, which obviously him being a notable singer in the industry for so long, he was trying to get he's trying to continue to get paid for his music and perform, because a lot of people were fans of R. Kelly. But around this time, which I feel like is interesting about this article too, they were trying to silence him, and that's also a lot of around the time too where people were saying, hey, don't play R. Kelly's music anymore, okay? As much as people loved R. Kelly's music, they're saying, hey, we can't support him no more if he's really doing this stuff out in his private life. All right. In early 2019, RCA Records dropped R. Kelly. Within weeks, a grand jury in Illinois, Cook County, had indicted him on 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. 9 of those counts identified victims as being 13 to 16 years old. Then Kelly sat down and stood up during his infamous CBS interview with Gayle King, during which he agitated over questions about his legal troubles. Yeah, and this is very famous for when R. Kelly was saying, I beat my case, I beat my case. He went on, because one thing about this docuseries, Surviving R. Kelly, this was like very viral. All right, so you know how like people have viral Netflix shows or whatever, but like, hey, did you watch this? Everybody's like, hey, did you see that Surviving R. Kelly? It was actually a very popular show, which is why it won that award. So Kelly's trial was repeatedly delayed by COVID-19 pandemic, but finally took place last August. Kelly's lawyers argued that his own history as an abused child might have led to his hypersexuality. Now, I'm not going to get into that because I don't know if that's true or not, but it really doesn't matter, okay? And I understand you're a lawyer and you got to defend your client and everything like that. And it might be a valid reason, okay? If somebody was, not a valid reason, but something that actually happened. If you get abused as a child, that's terrible, and no child should ever have to go through that and everything like that. However, when you become an adult, you know the difference between right and wrong. Just because you had something done to you doesn't mean you're supposed to do that to somebody else. So, yeah, R. Kelly, you getting what you deserve. All right. Kelly's upcoming trial in Chicago relates to federal charges of child pornography and obstruction of justice stemming from accusations that he videotaped himself having sex with underage girls, paid hush money, and intimidated witnesses to cover up his alleged crime, as well as multiple sexual assault and sexual abuse charges in Cook County. So yeah, that will be racketeering. I mean, not only oh, okay. It is true, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I remember in in that Surviving R. Kelly, they did talk about that in terms of him being abused and everything like that. Um, hold on, what did I just read? Yeah, yeah. Oh, and then after this and stuff like that, what makes it even more worse, where not only did it, but he was trying to uh, literally escape justice by offering these people money after he abused his victims and stuff like that. So that's just crazy as hell. So you're gonna abuse somebody and then try to pay them off, like that's yeah, that's terrible and everything, you know. So it's yeah, he definitely had it coming for him. All right, experts have said that state charges could potentially be dropped if the singer receives a lengthy prison sentence in New York. However, it's unlikely that federal charges in Chicago will be dropped. So damn, not only that's crazy. So not only is R. Kelly, he just got sentenced to 30 years, he still got some pending charges. So looks like R. Kelly probably will not be seeing the light of day ever again outside of them jail walls. Which, hey, if people really know about R. Kelly and what he did, he got what he deserved. So the singer is also facing a solicitation charge in Minnesota. He's accused of offering 17-year-old girl $200 to take off her clothes and dance in 2001. Damn. So, wow. You still got a pending charge of that as well, which, I mean, that's just crazy. You paying a 17-year-old $200 to take off her clothes in 2001. Anyway, all right, so that's the end of the article and everything like that. But yeah, this is breaking news, and you probably gonna see other people. Talk about this and stuff like that. But chasing the truth, we're gonna get to the bottom of things. It's actually a big thing. Actually a big deal, especially in the black community as well. Um, you know, yeah, R. Kelly made a lot of people even said baby making music back in the day, you know, and then he really transformed his career to continue to make hits after the 90s. So if I had to get, R. Kelly was pretty much popular and hot for a good 20 years. Okay. So that's why this is a big deal. It's not like R. Kelly is some one hit wonder. No. R. Kelly, I hate to say it, is a legend in the R&B community. Yes, people want to mute his music now, as they probably should. However, you can't take away the fact that he made hits and he was very popular and made good music. And as I'm thinking about it, I believe I Could Fly was on Space Jam. Okay? Like, I believe I Could Fly was the theme music for Space Jam, the original Space Jam. That's how popular R. Kelly was. So, you know, it's just I'm glad that the victims got justice and everything like that, but it's truly a heartbreaking story. Um, just on both sides, like you would hate to think that somebody like R. Kelly is really up to doing the things that he was doing, which clearly he was. So, but it's good that the victims got justice. All right, and another thing to add to this too is it's not like this was a one-time thing. Like R. Kelly had been doing this for years, and it's wild that as he was putting out these hits, he was leading this very deviant and predatory lifestyle and putting these people in danger. And so I also want to say thanks for everybody for joining us. So we got 3 people in here right now, or whatever. I was gonna do a video, but I felt like, hey, you know what? Somebody will see this and click on this and be like, hey, wow, you know what? This is big news. Okay, like if you're, I'm in my mid-30s, so anybody who is my age and older absolutely knows who R. Kelly is, all right, and the impact that he's had on the music community, all right, and it's kind of sad to say, it's like, hey, you know what is R. Kelly's legacy now, all right? Will he be known for his music? Will he be known for this? Will he be known for both? That's just a good question, and I feel like, you know, for me, that's how I look at it. Can't nobody take away R. Kelly's music and his art, okay? And you know, even I heard some people even right around then when that Surviving R. Kelly came out really break down some of his music and how it could have been predatory. But at the time when the music was coming out and everything like that, people didn't know what R. Kelly was doing in his private life and everything like that. And you can't take away his hits. All right. Now he, like I said, he in jail where he deserved to be. All right. But he had good music at the time. All right. That's why this is a big deal. It's not like R. Kelly, some average dude or whatever. Nah, this is huge. All right. R. Kelly was in everybody's household. And I will take it back to that I Believe I Can Fly, 1996. Okay. Everybody was singing that. All right. Everybody was singing I Believe I Can Fly. I'm not going to do that on this channel and even play that video because I probably would be part of the Mute R. Kelly movement. But if you want to, go check out I Believe I Can Fly. That was one of the most popular songs I can even remember in my childhood. Okay, that's how much they played that song. That's how popular it was. That's how popular R. Kelly was. They played it not only in music, on the radio, on TV, music awards, just everywhere. All right. My graduations. Matter of fact, yeah, graduations. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's interesting about R. Kelly being ostracized. I just feel like my take on R. Kelly, especially being an adult and being serious about the matter, is that R. Kelly, he was just a deviant person, you know, and I feel like it's extremely sad on both cases that, man, he made great music, but he was really a bad person, you know, and it just kind of hurts because I ain't gonna even say like it's gonna hurt, like it's gonna hurt other people a lot harder, and it already has hurt people when people are like, damn, you know, man, he's a really bad person, and that's what happened in 2018 when that Surviving R. Kelly came out. People were like, damn, this is really going on, like, and it just got it just went into his whole life. And obviously, focusing on the victims, focus on R. Kelly a little bit, but that Surviving R. Kelly was mostly the testimony of victims who were like, you know what, we're gonna come out and we're tired of this. So that's good for them. Let me see if I can get some other. Let's see if we can read something else. R. Kelly. You know, just yeah. I'm gonna look. Yeah, this is what I'll do. R. Kelly, Gayle King. I even remember watching this. This was all over the news too. Yeah. Matter of fact, can I do this? Yes, I can do this. All right. You know, matter of fact, since we got some time, I am gonna play this clip, and then we're gonna just react to this video. So I believe this was in shit. Man, my computer being slow. What the hell? Oh, yeah, this is 12.
I'm surprised that you agreed to do it.
Why? All right, yeah, yeah, this is what you're gonna get on Chasing the Truth. So we about to break down this don't get to be put on prison for a lifetime doctrine. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but hold on a second. We're gonna play this. Give me 1 second. I ain't trying to make nobody mad. Let me see. Why would I be making you mad? Oh, a second. Damn it. I gotta go to the. Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right. Yeah, we're gonna break down this Gayle King interview. All right. Here we go. So.
Down with us today.
I'm very tired of all of the lies. I've been hearing things and and seeing things on the blogs and.
All right. So R. Kelly, you know, he's starting off very bad, talking about he's tired of all the lies. Now, at this point, and I believe this was in 2018, people already knew what the deal was with R. Kelly. All right, so this was a pretty much big ass acting job to me. All right, but we gonna play it, and I'll comment on some more.
You know, I'm just tired.
What are the lies that you're hearing that disturb you most?
Oh my God, all of them. That little girl was trapped in the basement. Helicopters over my house.
That little girl trapped in the basement. Motherfucker, you made a song about being trapped in the basement or whatever. I think it was trapped in the basement or trapped in the closet. One of them.
Trying to rescue someone that doesn't need rescuing because they're not in my house. Handcuffing people, starving people. I have a harem, a cult. I don't even really know what a cult is, but I know I don't have one, you know.
Have you done anything that you regret? Have you done anything wrong?
Lots of things wrong when it comes to women that I apologize, but I apologize.
All right, now this is interesting. I mean, I guess this is the first time. I mean, it's a 12-minute interview, so I'm gonna try to break it down. But anyway, it's interesting here for him to at least say that he hasn't done every woman right and everything like that, but he doesn't really admit to all the bad stuff.
In those relationships, at the time I was in the relationships.
Have you broken any laws when it comes to women?
Absolutely not.
The 6-part series interviewed 50 people. Family.
All right. This is good because, matter of fact, this is exactly after the Surviving R. Kelly came out. So Gayle King just said that it's a 6-part series. They interviewed 50 people. So let's see. Let's just go a little bit further.
Members, your former tour manager, numerous women who all claim that you abused them. Are you saying everybody in that documentary was not telling the truth about you? Everybody?
If you really look at that documentary, which I'm sure you have,
I have.
Everybody said something bad about me. Nobody said nothing good.
All right, now I don't necessarily know that that's true. Oh my bad. That R. Kelly. Not everybody said something bad, but most of it did. Surviving R. Kelly was not in R. Kelly's favor at all. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Damn near everything was bad about R. Kelly in there. But it don't matter if it was bad or not. It matters if it was true.
They was describing Lucifer. I'm not Lucifer. I'm a man. I make mistakes. But I'm not a devil. And by no means am I a monster.
I'm going to name the names. Andrea Kelly, your ex-wife. Kitty Jones. Lisa Van Allen. Lisette Martinez, Geronda Pace, Faith Rogers, Asante McGee. You're saying everything they said in that documentary about you is not true.
They are lying on me.
Yeah, so that's a pretty bold claim too, man. You can't say that everybody was lying on you, man. Like, I mean, I can understand you got a right to defend yourself and everything like that, but it's just like, damn, all 50 people was lying on you? Like, that's a big-ass coordinated attack to make up some lies about sex trafficking.
Why would these women say the same thing about you? That you are controlling, that you are abusive, that you tell women when to eat, when to go to the bathroom, when they can sleep, where they can dress. Why would all these women tell these different stories about you if they were not true? And they don't know each other.
Great question by Gayle King. That's an excellent interview question. Why would these women who don't know each other make up the same lie about you? You know? And R. Kelly's trying to make it seem like it's some coordinated attack when, in actuality, it really wasn't.
That defies logic to me.
Right. Until you hear the explanation. You can start a rumor on a guy like me or a celebrity just like that. All you have to do is push a button on your phone and say, so-and-so did this to me. R. Kelly did this to me, and if you get any traction from that, if you're able to write a book from that, if you're able to get
I kind of agree with R. Kelly here.
Then any girl that I had a relationship in the past that
I kind of agree with R. Kelly when what he said here is like, hey, he's R. Kelly. Anybody can clout chase off of R. Kelly's name, which is true.
Out, she can come and say the same exact thing.
Are you blaming this on social media?
I'm talking about the power of social media.
In 2008, R. Kelly was found not guilty on 14 counts of child pornography.
Yeah, so that's a big thing he was found not guilty in 2008. So that was another thing too. Yeah, he had already been to court previously, and this is where I think he's gonna come in this interview, he's gonna talk about how he beat his case.
After prosecutors in Chicago failed to convince a jury that he was a man seen in a sex tape with a girl as young as 13.
What do you want to say to your fans?
Last month, Kelly was indicted again, this time charged with aggravated criminal sexual abuse of 4 women, including 3 who the charges say were minors at the time. Have you ever had sex
No.
with anyone under the age of 17?
No.
You lying your ass off.
Never.
You lying your ass off.
I have to tell you, it's so hard to believe that based on all the
There's-
threat
I'm gonna tell
and
you
what the
something,
women
Gail. There's
said
one
about
sit-
you.
I'm gonna
What
tell
the
you
women
something.
said about you.
What women said about me. What women. So nobody's allowed to be mad at me and be scorned and allow me.
So they're lying on you. That's your explanation. They're lying on you.
Absolutely.
He gonna sit up here and really say after. I mean, this is 2018, so mind you, 10 years ago, he had a trial for which he beat, which he's gonna talk about in his interview, how he beat his case for child pornography and all that stuff in 2008, and he he gonna sit up here with a straight face, say that he ain't never been with nobody under 18.
Absolutely.
This fake ass crime.
Absolutely.
This
You
fake
feel that
ass
people
crime.
maligned your
I
character.
have been assassinated. I have been buried alive. But I'm alive.
So
One thing I will say about this interview by R. Kelly is that he he really did go out here and really try to defend his name, even though we know he was lying. But this was a good interview by Gayle King. So shout out to Gayle King.
I think the point you're making is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you have never held anybody against their will.
I don't need to. Why would I?
Well,
How stupid would it
never
be
held.
for-
So one thing that I do want to point out, this is interesting. Not only about the whole underage having sex with somebody underage, but this is a good key point, which Gayle just asked was, have you ever held somebody under their will, without their consent? This is something that was talked about in the Surviving R. Kelly docuseries, which multiple people claimed, and they even went back to the house that they were at, which they were held under their will. So yeah, this is an interesting question by Gayle.
for R. Kelly, with all I've been through in my way, way past, to hold somebody, let alone 4, 5, 6, 50, you said. Why, how stupid would I be to do that?
I didn't say you
That's
were holding.
stupid, guys.
I didn't.
Is this camera on me? That's
This is man, I highly suggest y'all watch this interview. This is R. Kelly interview with Gayle King, because this was all over the internet back in 2018. Okay, I definitely remember this because R. Kelly was very animated. Watch this.
stupid. Use your common sense. Don't forget the blogs. Forget how you feel about me. Hate me if you want to, love me if you want, but just use your common sense. How stupid would it be for me to, with my crazy past and what I've been through, right now I just think I need to be a monster and hold girls.
Yeah, R. Kelly, that's a good ass question. How stupid do you have to be? You ain't got your case from 2008 and stuff like that. You beat that, as you gonna talk about, but you still couldn't, you know what I'm saying, let it go.
Yes, they will chain them up in my basement and don't let them eat and don't let them out unless they need some shoes down the street from their uncle. Stop it. Y'all quit playing.
Quit playing.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm
Look at
fighting
him.
for my life.
Yeah, he is fighting for his life, and you lost, R. Kelly. You fighting for your life, and you lost.
30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career.
Damn.
Y'all trying to kill me. You killing me, man. This is not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it.
So I ain't gonna lie, I don't know if it's real. It seemed real and everything like that, but like I said, this is very animated by R. Kelly, saying he trying to fight for his life. Like I said, he fighting for his life, and he lost clearly. He got 30 years, but we gonna keep playing the interview.
Y'all just don't want to believe the truth.
Do you
Oh,
love Gantt
shit.
charts? Here's how easily.
Man, I'm on my other account. Hold on a second. It was a coordinated attack. was during the time too when they had produced a 5-hour doc. Yeah, exactly. This documentary. Hold on a second. This documentary. Yeah, I'm on my other YouTube account, so hold on a second.
you can build one and click it.
Cause I got premium
Let's
where they
map
don't
out
be
the tab.
playing all this. So all right, hold on a
You
second.
don't want to believe it.
At this point, we briefly pause the interview to give Kelly a moment. His publicist helped calm him down.
I hope this camera keep going.
No, we're gonna
This
let
is
the
not
camera keep
true.
rolling.
Man,
This
This
doesn't
was
even
intense.
make sense. Why would I hold all these women?
look at me talking into
Their
the camera.
mothers and fathers told me, we're gonna destroy your career.
But Kelly's emotions remained raw.
It's real girls out there missing.
Yeah,
It's real young girls out there being abducted.
I do agree with him.
Raped.
Yep,
Okay?
that's true. And you was one of them, R. Kelly. Yeah.
On chains. They really do have chains on their wrists, and they can't get out. And they're ending up buried in deep.
Yeah, that's killing me. I mean, it's funny. I mean, it's not really funny, but it kind of is funny how she keep on calling him Robert. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that is his name, but don't nobody call him Robert. Everybody know you R. Kelly. Robert, calm down, Robert.
We have to have a conversation,
This is
really.
not me.
I don't want you just ranting at the camera.
I came here for them to hear me
Okay,
talk.
but
I need help.
What kind of help?
This is the kind of help I need.
Yes, what kind of help?
I need somebody to help me not have a big heart.
Mm.
Because my heart is so big. People betray me, and I keep forgiving them.
You sound like you're playing the victim here. You
Right.
sound like
You are sounding
R.
like you
Kelly
playing the
did.
victim, R. Kelly.
When I listen to you,
I'm
it
just
does
telling
sound
the
like
truth.
you're playing the victim
I'm just
card.
telling the truth. And the reason I'm emotional,
But Robert,
and I apologize for that,
No,
is
no,
because this
no.
is the first time I was able to say
speak.
something. I've said nothing.
Well, we're also hearing from the family of a woman who lives with R. Kelly at his home.
All right,
which
let me
family
skip this
says
part.
they have no doubt.
Get back to the interview.
Closet. You know, he was unhinged. He was overwrought. He was evasive. So that's what really came off to me. It came off as someone who was trying to manipulate the audience, the way he allegedly has manipulated these women.
You know, it was remarkable. So many people are commenting about Gayle King and her composure. She actually was speaking to my colleagues, Vlad and Anne-Marie.
Control, being domineering and controlling. And that's what it felt like a little bit today. He is towering over Gayle King, who is sitting there being the consummate pro.
All right.
as
Well, that's the
he's
interview.
screaming.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna end it right there. But anyway, that was just R. Kelly trying to defend himself when he had these allegations. Clearly, he was lying, and R. Kelly's in jail. All right, so I am gonna wrap this up. If people wanna check me out, I appreciate it. But we gonna get to the truth, all right, and then we gonna end with the truth. The truth behind this is that R. Kelly, whether you want to mute him or not, had good music, okay? So this is one thing where I am going to separate the artist from the music real quick. R. Kelly, you can't take away that R. Kelly had his hits, okay? You can't take away I Believe I Can Fly, all right? Anybody who is, like I said, is my age or older knows how impactful R. Kelly was, all right, in his music. Years later, when all these allegations came out and it turns out that they were true, it kind of changed how people view R. Kelly, all right? However, he's going to live in history. Now, some people will continue to play his music. Some people won't. I won't be one of those people, okay? Because I can't agree with what he did. However, I won't forget about R. Kelly, and another thing, too, is I don't think that people play his music in clubs anymore, but yeah, he had a lot of dance music. You talk about people having 90s night and stuff like that. R. Kelly will be played and everything like that. But, I'm glad that the victims got justice. And R. Kelly is exactly where he needs to be, which is in jail. And, yeah, so we're going to end it on that. So, anyway, thank you for tuning in. And you should...